It's a terrible shame you won't get to see what happens next. Because what happens next is my favorite part.
Now, what comes next is definitely my favorite thing, because it's been only, 511 days since the last time I was deep diving into a From episode. So, welcome to the channel, Fromily. My name is Igor, I'm your detective host, and today we're gonna deep dive into From Season 4, Episode 1. Finally, the title of the episode is Arrival, and eventually when we were analyzing the trailer and the episode titles, we were kinda thinking this is basically about the pastor and his daughter arriving to the town of Fromville. And now, after the first episode, we can confidently say this is about the man in yellow, actually changing his form to Sophia and going to the town to become one of the citizens and probably to create a lot of havoc. Like he says in the end of the episode,
"It's always my favorite part. It's the part I wish could last forever. This is when they tear themselves apart."
Which probably means Season 4 is gonna be even way more devastating for our characters than it usually is. But Season 4 kinda keeps the same tradition as Season 3. Season 3 picked up at the same moment when Season 2 ended, and Season 4 does the same. We're once again at the scene when Jim is being killed by the man in yellow, and we have a very important moments here. First of all, the conversation actually happens not only with Julie here, but actually with Jim. For some reason, he is being able to even speak a little bit before he dies.
Fuck you.
He's saying to the man in yellow, "fuck you," which is a very reasonable response in this situation, but then again, having this kind of an injury to his throat and still being able to speak, it's a little bit weird, even for this place. Now, what's important for me is that still, until this moment, we haven't seen Jim officially dead. Now, I'm not saying he's alive, he's almost 100% dead, even though we have seen him in the trailer. But still, once again, it kind of makes me question why they're not showing to us Jim's last moment, even though we kind of got his final words. But the most interesting part of this scene is obviously the conversation between the man in yellow and Julie. And first of all, he says to her,
We have to stop meeting like this.
"We have to stop meeting like this." So, of course, when I was making my big video essay, like it's popular to say it in YouTube, about From, I was talking about Julie probably doing a lot of time traveling, doing a lot of story walking, because in order for her to arrive at the same location at the same time where her father is being killed, she needs a lot of practice, and we haven't seen her that much capable in the end of Season 3. So there's gonna be a lot of jumps in between, and probably most likely, during those jumps, she will encounter the man in yellow. But maybe he's referring to something else. Maybe since we now know that he is a shapeshifter, maybe she was actually seeing him in a very different form. Maybe he was Martin and he was locked in chains in this location when she saw him and threw the rope to Boyd. Maybe actually breaking the music box in the end of Season 2 somehow released this creature, this power, whatever it is, and made it even more powerful. There's a lot of maybes here, and now we know that he's a shapeshifter, so in potential, he can be almost anybody that we have seen in the first 3 seasons. He can be one of the monsters, you know, that one maybe.
Don't you recognize me?
But you know me, I don't like to build theories completely out of my ass, so at this moment I'm just gonna keep it here, let's keep this in mind and move on. Because the next thing that the man in yellow says to Julie...
Didn't anyone tell you? There's no way to change a story once it's been told.
There's no way to change a story once it's been told, and this is obviously a reference to what Ethan said to her in the end of Season 3.
That means I can change things. I can save Jen. Maybe I can even save Thomas.
Doesn't work like that.
But you just
You
said...
can visit the chapters, but you can't change them.
Why?
No one can change a story once it's been told.
Now there's a lot of speculation in Fromily that Ethan and the man in yellow are the same person, maybe just grown up or something like this. I'm not entirely convinced, because it kind of looks like the man in yellow has never been a human being.
People are such fragile things.
Or 100% now he's not a human being anymore, obviously, no human can do what he does. But still, everybody who supports this theory just got a lot more ammunition for it. Anyway, you can see already why I'm so excited. We just covered about a minute and a half of the first episode, and there's already a lot of material for us to talk about. I'm gonna have actually a live stream today, so keep in mind and don't miss it, it's gonna be very interesting. Now moving on, the man in yellow says to Jim that he liked him a lot, and he kinda feels sincere, but we're gonna see how he acts as Sophia.
Please don't let my daddy die. Please don't let him die.
So he probably should get an Oscar for this part. Man in yellow is very good at
Acting!
and he says to him what happens next is my favorite thing, and until the end of the episode we don't really know why, they kinda keep it as a secret, and then already Sophia says the same sentence to the pastor and actually explains why.
This is when they tear themselves apart.
Anyway, we can see already that the promises has been made and promises has been kept. I'm still not convinced whose, because we have in the end of season 2 Boyd promising that this place is not gonna break him.
You don't break me. You don't fucking break me!
And then in the beginning of season 3, monsters were like,
Challenge accepted.
and after Boyd discovers with Kenny that Smiley is back and kicking, and they understand that the one victory they had is completely useless because they really cannot defeat those monsters. Even when they succeed to kill them, they still come back to life. Boyd feels 100% broken. He is going to the last resort. He starts to count bullets for everybody in town, in case there's not gonna be any other choice but to put a bullet in your head. He wants to give a choice to every person in town, either to die by the monsters or to end their life by themselves. So we are seeing that Boyd is 100% breaking, and this is one of the main themes of the episode. But for me, as somebody who really likes to dive deep into the little details, well, the moment when Kenny said this,
47. We have 47 people.
made me go like this, because you know that 47 is a very important number in From. First of all, episode 1 season 6 is titled Book 74. Father Country was implying that they all live in the book of the Bible that has not been written yet. There are 73 books in the Bible and they are living in the 74th.
People think the Bible is a fixed object, but how can the story be finished if all the players remain on stage? Did you know it's actually comprised of 73 books, all filled with tales of miracle and wonder? But there's also darkness in the Bible. Since the night I arrived, there seems to be a question I keep coming back to. 73 books. What if we are living the book that has yet to be written?
Now, Sophia arriving with the Bible, reading from the Bible, knowing the Bible very well, is actually implying that there has to be some kind of a connection here, right? And if you remember, Father Country said to Sarah that there is no Bible in this town. A lot of books by Robert Ludlum and somebody else, but no, the most popular book in the world. Weird, right? And now we have Sophia arriving with the Bible.
The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness shall not overcome it.
What is that?
John 1:5.
And as far as we can see, the man in yellow knows his Bible pretty well. He quotes John 1.5 or something like this. And once again, it reminds me of the drawings that Miranda was drawing in her basement. And one of them was actually this guy that looks a lot like a pilgrim of some sort, or maybe a church kind of figure, one of the first settlers in United States of America. So we have this theory that one of the first people that did something horrible here in this location maybe was a priest, maybe was a dogmatic fanatic of some sort. So maybe there is a connection here, but you cannot argue the fact that the man in yellow is really good with the Bible, so he knows what he's talking about, and this is probably coming from experience. Now, coming back to 47, if you remember, the numbers 4 and 7 appeared on the radio when everybody was stuck in the RV and something was pushing from under the ground and Boyd has seen his wife again. This is also one of the moments that we're gonna visit during this season when Julie's gonna start a walk, as we have seen in the trailer. Now, we also remember that Tilly had 4 children and 7 grandchildren.
Sweetie,
I've had 4 kids and 7 grandchildren.
There are a lot of cards that has the numbers of 4 and 7. One of them we can see in the lighthouse. There are a lot of different repetitions of the number 4 and 7. Once again, I'm gonna refer you to my big video. I explain it in detail there. So please check it out because you're gonna learn a lot about this TV show, I promise you. Now, right now, I actually want to come back to the man in yellow changing his form to Sophia, because when he does that, we can obviously see something that we haven't been able to confirm with 100% certainty during the trailers, but we can see right now that he's taking out from under the ground what looks like is the exact same suitcase that Tabitha was checking in the caves in the beginning of season 2. You can compare between the stickers on top of the suitcase and they look exactly the same, identical shapes. We can also in this moment, for example, see that there's the same fair, New York fair, science fair of something 1964 is actually also there. But if you remember, when Tabitha was checking the suitcase, inside of it was like a gun of some sort. Maybe the man in yellow was actually in the shape of the bride monster that we have seen many times in Fromville. Maybe he is actually taking shape of the monsters while he's there. Once again, I'm just speculating here, but I have no reasonable explanation how one suitcase, the same suitcase, came from under the ground, from the caves, to just being buried a little bit under the ground in this location, and now it has even different contents. Now the suitcase have clothes for the Sophia shape, if you want to call her like this. But once again, it's very interesting that he does this ritual of changing his form in one of the old locations. If you remember, in From we have separate locations that are way older than the rest of the buildings. We have the church, we have the place where Martin is being chained, we have the cellar where Fatima was trapped, we have also the cellar in the colony house, and it looks like a lot of them are actually leading to the caves. For example, the one when Fatima was kept, and when Julie was with Martin, she was able to escape to the caves. So once again, we have this weird connection between those the old locations and the caves, and I think it's not random that the man in yellow walked to here and this is where he buried his suitcase. Maybe once again the roots of the tree somehow provide you the teleportation that it's needed to actually get the suitcase even from the caves, to get every artifact from the caves, from any location that it's connected to them. Once again, I'm speedballing here, but I've been right many times. So maybe Sophia will actually not survive whatever will happen to her, and the man in yellow will take her place, and we will have like a mall inside of the town. Basically, you know, the man in yellow in the shape of Sophia helping everybody, telling them about the scripture or Psalm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever this is, but actually leading them, riling them up for, you know, for the last massacre. I think it kind of makes sense to me. I've been wrong even more times, but I've been right sometimes, so maybe I'm right here too. Another interesting moment for me is that Boyd opens up the box with the bullets with something that looks like a key from his boat. You know, it has the same key holder, but we can definitely compare the keys from episode 8, season 1, and this is not the same key, which also implies that Boyd kinda gave up on hope in this place. He's not even hoping that he can come back home and actually take his boat for a spin. Or maybe, you know, after killing his wife, he's not gonna feel very good taking her present into a spin on the water. Now, look, we're still watching a TV show, and I don't believe Boyd is gonna be 100% broken. I think he will be coming back and he will have his redemption even after he tortured Elgin. Because he is the main hero, he's the main protagonist, and he's probably the person that everybody roots for, most of the people. But once again, after what he did to Elgin, it's gonna be a very difficult moment. Just like Acosta is saying to him that you're a monster.
You're a fucking monster.
And she kinda has a point, because he was there, he was supposedly there to protect the whole town, and when he was given a choice to choose between the town and his family, he chose his family, which once again I would argue a lot of people would. I would probably do the same on his place, but then again he failed as the protector of the town. Anyway, we're talking about Elgin and he lost his eye, and I'm just here to remind you that this is something that happens in this place a lot. Okay, we have seen Clara almost losing an eye, we have seen drawings of people losing an eye, we have seen the man that came to Jade in his vision also without an eye, and as the man in yellow in the shape of Sophia told to the pastor, you are a part of a very interesting, compelling story.
But it's important you understand that you played a very special role in a very important story.
And means that our theories that they all drop in a story that came to life for some reason, we don't know yet what is the reason 100%, but they've been confirmed. Once again, I have a video about this, and if you missed it, you're more than welcome to check it out. Now, if you remember, in the end of season 3, we discovered that Jade and Tabitha, they are reincarnations of the Prime Mother and Prime Father, if you want to call them that way, and they are coming to this location, to Fromville, already for hundreds and hundreds of years, trying to save children that are already dead. Now, there is an implication that maybe it's all a lie. Now, I'm holding my fingers crossed because personally I'm not a big fan of this all reincarnation reveal, and hopefully Tabitha is right and this place just messes with their head. But once again, it's probably not something that would have been kept to the end of season 3, and you know, they probably really reincarnations, and we're gonna have to wait and see how they need to come in terms with this. But they definitely feel some kind of a connection, even though Jade says to her, our favorite that never repeats in this TV show,
We need to talk.
and they decide not to talk because they're waiting for Jim, but simultaneously it kind of feels like they already don't really give a crap about Jim. It's like almost night, and they're like, okay, Jim is maybe in RV, maybe he's in Colony House, nobody's panicking, nobody's trying to look for him, nobody's going to Boyd or Kenny and tell him, look, it's almost night, but Jim is not here. You remember, once again, season 2, when Jim went with Randall to kidnap Donna, but unless he wouldn't say this to Julie, everybody would panic and keep looking for him, and now everybody's like, yeah, whatever, Jim, fuck this guy, let's keep moving. Both Tabitha and Jay didn't give us that much in this episode, even though we had an interesting moment that we already kinda seen in the trailer when we have a poltergeist doing some weird shit in the place where Julie, Tabitha and Ethan live. And I have a theory that this is Jim. If you remember what Jade was saying in the end of season 3, which is in this place maybe the energy is not transforming into anything else but just keeps being here.
The first law of thermodynamics is that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change from one form to another. And our thoughts, our memories, our souls, if you believe in that sort of thing, they're made of energy. And that energy, maybe here, that energy, I don't know, maybe it lingers.
And we can see that Father Khatri, or something that pretends to be Father Khatri, and Tom the bartender are actually coming to our heroes, and it looks like they're trying to help. So it wouldn't be a big surprise that Jim would linger a little bit longer, because his first priority was always his family. He wanted to protect his family, even though he was not doing a very good job about this. But still, I'm convinced that he would stay there if he would have a possibility to be there and somehow even a little bit help his family. So maybe this is him trying to show that he is there. Listen, and he will be able to provide you maybe some answers. Now, there's also Acosta, who feels like also breaking here, and she's even saying like everybody here is a monster, and we can see her going to the diner, finding the hoodie that we can see that she's gonna wear in later episodes, and maybe she's already planning to do something to this town, and probably she's gonna be one of the catalysts for this whole conflict that's been hinted to us by the man in yellow. But also, as usual, the music box put her a song, and this time it's Frank Sinatra bringing the clowns. And the song is basically, the meaning of the song is not about the clowns, it's the theater, something that happens in theater. When something bad happens on the stage, you send in the clowns to distract everybody. So it's basically saying everything is fucked up and you missed your opportunity. So this is once again, the music box is terrorizing and amplifying the agony of its characters. Sometimes it's amplifying the hope, like it was in season 1 when it showed the music to Boyd, implying that he needs to go to this adventure. So it kind of moved him, pushed in the right direction, supposedly.
I'll be damned.
or when they put the song Blue by Joni Mitchell for Tabitha and Jim to remind them that they used to be in love.
It's summer in Texas.
And when it's terrorized Kenny in season 3, when it puts Celebration after he discovered that his mom is dead. And now it's taunting Acosta, basically telling her, you missed your chance, this is it, this town is fucked, and you're not a savior, and you're not a cop, you should probably wear something else, or once again, maybe Acosta is gonna get angry and do something about it. We also, in my opinion, didn't get enough of Victor and Henry. We just learned that now they're gonna become Joey and Chandler, and they're gonna be roommates. Hopefully it's not gonna become a sitcom. We also didn't get enough from Fatima, but it was kinda a little bit implied that he knows more than she reveals. She's angry at everybody for not believing her, that something grows inside, but even if they would, they probably wouldn't be able to do anything about it. And she's saying something that we already know. Those monsters, they used to be people, they used to be human, and they sacrificed their children in a bargain with some sort of a power, with some sort of a demonic probably power, which is, once again, the man in yellow, which once again implies that he's probably not a human being, which means he's not Ethan. But once again, everything can be possible in Fromville. But still, every time she's been asked, they did a bargain with whom, with what, she says she doesn't know, she hasn't seen it. Now maybe she's not lying, but it feels like one of those, check of guns that's supposed to shoot in the end of the season, and maybe Fatima will remember eventually, and she will be able to somehow recognize Sophia in the shape of Man in Yellow, Man in Yellow in the shape of Sophia. Maybe she will be able to somehow save the people in this town. Now, this is not the last season, obviously, season 4, and now it's been confirmed there's gonna be season 5, and season 5 is gonna be the last one. So whatever climax we're gonna have in season 4, there have to be some people that survive this season. So yeah, go Fatima and save everybody. We also have a very heartfelt moment between Boyd and Ellis, and this is not a theory, I think it's pretty logical, and I would be very surprised if I'm gonna be wrong about this, but Boyd is breaking, as we said already many times in this video, and the only thing that can pull him in this place is his son, okay, and maybe his daughter-in-law, but mostly his son. This is the reason why he wakes up during the day, like he needs to know that him killing Abby to protect his son was not in vain, that Abby was wrong. It's hard for me even to imagine, even theoretically, that you can do something like this. You need to shoot your wife, your closest person, to save your child. This can scar for life anybody. I mean, and in order to keep going and even try to protect everybody in this place, you need a very powerful motivation, obviously, to save your child. So Ellis is there for him, and I'm very happy to see this. This is a very emotional moment, and usually I'm already used to, shed some tears when Victor is doing something emotional, but this time Bod gave us a little tears. Now coming back to the end of the season, once again, Sophia, for some reason, telling everything to the pastor, that they all trapped in this story that repeats itself. And the last part is something that she wishes, or he wishes, that it would last forever, because this is the moment when they tear themselves apart. So we already know that Sophia is gonna go with the book and tell everybody that the monsters and blah blah blah, and this is John 1.5, and you need to do this and this and this, and she will do whatever she can to create as much conflict between different people in this place. So they will start killing themselves instead of the monsters killing them. They all break. This is the best fun for this place, for this evil, whatever this is, and I kind of have maybe even small, I wouldn't call it theory, but just an idea. I'm gonna talk about this closer to the end of this video. What's very interesting for me is also that we can see that Sophia, the man in yellow, she can touch somebody and make them either wake up or go into this trance mode, into this seizure that we have seen already many times. We have Ethan in the beginning of season 1 when he has seen the spider comes from the ceiling, and he was sort of inside of Victor's room. We have Sarah getting a message to kill the boy, to kill probably Ethan. We have Elgin seizuring and shaking in the beginning of season 2 when he got a vision from the boy in white, keep in mind. he needs to remember the lullaby. They come for free unless you stop the melody. And we also have Julie is also shaking and seizuring on the ground when she is story walking. So is it confirmed that the only way for you to get into this state of mind is from the man in yellow? So the man in yellow was the voices inside of Sarah's head? I mean, why voices then? Why not one voice? This is a question that I have no answer for you. Then maybe he was the one showing Ethan what he needs to see, or opening him up to display so he'll be able to see the boy in white. But once again, why does he need that for Ethan? And the biggest question is, once again, the man in yellow showing Elgin about the lullaby and how to stop it. It kind of works with the theory that maybe he was Martin and he needed to be released from the worms and from the music box that maybe was containing him in this location. But once again, there's a lot of buts and ifs in this theory, so once again, I'm not 100% convinced. I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. Now there's also an interesting moment. You picked up on this when Christy was talking to Boyd?
No matter how many people I stitch back up together, if they say you lose faith, then that's when people start hanging themselves in the bathroom.
She's actually referring to, I'm pretty sure nobody remembers this guy that killed himself in the end of season 1, which I was complaining a lot about. Like, we get to know this character in the beginning of the episode and then he kills himself and we're supposed to feel sorry for him even though we don't know him. He's 100% NPC in this place, and it kind of makes me happy that it feels like the creators remember what they were writing and creating in season 1, and there is Christy losing her friend and feeling devastated about it in season 1, now talks about it in season 4. Look, I know it's not a theory, it's not an explanation about anything, I just enjoy those kind of moments. Now the last thing I want to talk to you about is actually the pastor arriving to the town, and we can see that the car is from Alabama. And it's not unusual to see on an Alabama license plate, stars fell on. As I told you, this is not some kind of a big find and a big reveal, but it kind of made me think about something. First of all, if you remember in season 2, Victor was asking Jay to play him the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the lullaby that his mom used to sing for him. In the drawings, we many times see stars. And Stars Fell On actually refers to the event in 1833, which is American history in Alabama, when there was a meteor shower, a very long meteor shower that felt like the whole sky is burning, like there's a lot of different lights in the air. So it kind of felt very mystical, very godlike to the people of Alabama, obviously, that were witnessing this. And there's a lot of information about this event. But then again, it kind of made me think, maybe this is one of the prime events. Maybe this, whatever creature the man in yellow is, actually arrived from outer space, and the theory about aliens is not as crazy as we thought. Maybe this is something Venom-like. I don't know exactly what it is, but everything that somehow connects to American history is always a big red flag or green flag or whatever flag you want to call it for me, because I remember in the interview Jack Bender said that John Griffin, he has the whole lore of this place covered up. All of the history of this place, all of the events are already written. So whatever it is, it's gotta be something historical. Now we have the Croatan, you know, the disappeared colony. We have the Civil War soldier here. 1833 is the similar, you know, period. Not exactly the Civil War, but very similar period. So I don't know, maybe there is something here. Probably not, once again, because as I told you, this is just an Alabama license plate. It can be just a coincidence. But then again, if we're gonna see a flashback of the prime event, of something that happened, I think it would be pretty epic to see a big meteor shower that starts this event. I think it would be very visually enticing, and it would be a very significant event to start a magical place. Once again, let me know what you think about this. I would love to read your comments. And you're more than welcome to check my merch. Some of it is from Inspired, so I'm pretty sure you're gonna love it. And thanks everybody who supports this channel on Patreon and on YouTube. Your financial support is what makes this channel possible. Now, if you feel that you want to support, it's great. If you feel you want to like, comment, and subscribe, it's amazing. But I always say, if you just watch the video and you enjoyed it from the beginning to the end, I already got everything I ever ever wanted. Everything else is a bonus. Now I'm gonna see you in the next one, and there's gonna be a lot of next ones about From, but meanwhile, bye!